We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, is my guy for real, bro?
Run stuff.
Got French right now. Yo, BRC20s, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, lock it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution, ayy. Bitcoin is the one, no substitution, ayy. With Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? It's Monday, and we are live as we are all week. We have a special show for you guys today because we are getting a little bit bullish. We feel like the bottom's in over here. You know, Bitcoin is looking to make a move. Ordinals, runes, BRC20s loading up for a huge run. So that's what we're doing here. I don't know if you guys are feeling the same way. It could just be all the coffee and the caffeine gum that I've been chewing. But hey, I'm getting bullish over here, guys. I'm excited. We have a lot of amazing stuff to talk about as well. So we got obviously, you know, we're gonna get into some Bitcoin price action and stuff like that, and that doesn't look too good. But the way it feels right now, it feels very similar to how we felt last year. August, September. We went back and watched an episode from last August, September, and it feels exactly the same. I remember in that episode we were talking about like how it's just so boring, and that's kind of how it feels right now. And I posted on Twitter yesterday. I said, "Yeah, I'm so bored. Like Bitcoin needs to do something." And I think we're all feeling that way. But eventually, it's going to happen, guys. And we have the U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve considering redefining crypto into some type of money, which would do insane for the taxes and stuff like that. 94% of all Bitcoin supply is now officially issued, so there's only 6% left. El Salvador keeps mining. We're gonna get into the Wiz. We got update from the Wiz wallet, update from Unisat wallet, update from Fractal. Man, we have a lot to talk about. And obviously today is Maryland Monday, so if you guys are tuning in for that, that'll be at 12 p.m. Eastern time, 56 minutes from right now. So let's just get this going then, because we're running out of time. You're bringing my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
What's up, dude? So we're back. I got the green screen back. I'm feeling good. I got everything going good. I think my audio is better. I know yesterday my audio was messed up. So guys, let me know in the chat if my audio sounds good, because yesterday it was bad. But
I didn't notice it, but
how are you guys feeling? How are you feeling? You know, the title of today's show is Bitcoin is looking to make a move. I'm feeling bullish, but it could be just the caffeine. I'm ramped up on caffeine today. How are you feeling?
yeah, I mean, I've mentioned before that I felt like every time that we would be in a position for a descending triangle, it'd pop back up. So there's definitely the demand for Bitcoin to get going, but I think we're just, you know, there's probably some market makers and big entities that are just like, hey, not yet. The time's not here. They're definitely making their money, right, with chop back and forth, because it's hard to trade in an environment that's constantly chopped because everybody wants to be bullish. But I do see something happening, you know, maybe in September, and we get a similar repeat of last year. Maybe a little bit stronger though.
Yeah, man, I'm just change some mic settings. I got a very low comment there. Does it sound any different now?
I mean, yeah, it was loud in my ear. I don't know what everybody else is listening to, but
sorry.
you're good though.
I'm just trying to figure things out. So, all right, as we go here. But yeah, man, I definitely agree. Let's kind of get right into it here. The US Treasury and Federal Reserve are considering redefining money under the Bank Secrecy Act to include cryptocurrencies. What does this mean to you, and what do you think it means? What do you think they mean?
I'm not sure exactly what they mean by this, but to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is, hey, look, adoption is starting to happen. It's going in the direction that we all wanted it to, starting, last cycle, even before that, right? And so
Yeah.
when the Federal Reserve is talking about that, I think they realize that they're probably in a battle that they won't be able to win. The banks as well, right? Because the banks work very closely with the Federal Reserve. Whenever they are in trouble, they look to the Federal Reserve, right? So I think banks are coming on board and they're saying, how can we work with this system? This is going to be a new part of our new system in the future. Let's just, instead of going against the grain for so many years, let's start to see where we can benefit and prosper.
Do you think this has anything to do with taxes? Like the big boys are in now.
I do think it has. I do think it has something to do with taxes. But just in general, it's kind of like the internet. You can't fight it for too long, like the traditional legacy media companies that were producing newspapers and yellow pages and making billions of dollars off of that industry, and realize that, hey, look, we're just going to have to give this sector up, and then let's start producing digital news. And the ones that did that early on, they're the ones that are still doing it today. The ones that hung on to those yellow pages and that revenue, those are the ones that eventually had to file for bankruptcy and, reorganize and sell their companies and stuff. So
yeah, 100%. I agree. Jumping to the next thing here, 94% of the total Bitcoin supply has now been officially issued. So 94% of all the Bitcoin that'll ever exist is now in circulation. 6% left, and it's going to be, it's going to take about 120 years to get the rest of that 6% out. With the last percent being, it's going to take the longest amount of time. What does this mean to you right now? And and the inflation is dead with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think this is kind of one of those slapstick, knee slapping headliners type. Sorry, slapping headliners that. Oh, wow, 94% is out there, but really we know that the last 6% is going to take, we won't be here, whatever,
2140.
There we go. So it's still far out. Life will be very different in those years, but imagine witnessing that, the last Bitcoin being mined. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, speaking of mining Bitcoin, El Salvador has mined 474 Bitcoin worth $21 million using volcano-fueled geothermal power. Insane.
I love it.
Insane. Yeah.
This is stuff that the United States should be looking at. We should be using, hydropower with dams or whatever. I know that Tether, this is why I'm always, giving Tether their flowers, is because they've already started that process with their mining, being involved with mining, using hydropower. This is just so creative of using your resources to be able to, utilize that energy towards mining Bitcoin. And El Salvador is going to be a winner in the nation states that have adopted Bitcoin, just because they were on board, way before everybody else. And so this is awesome. I love to see it. I expect to see more of this kind of thing in the future.
Yeah, and I talked to someone a while ago about this, and they were basically saying how they think El Salvador is going to do what Saudi Arabia did with oil, but with Bitcoin. And you're already kind of saying this right now. I mean, obviously you're probably going to see other countries kind of copying this, but Saudi Arabia, they just get the oil out the ground and they sell it, right? So it seems like El Salvador is just taking the Bitcoin out of the volcano and they're going to sell it. So I don't know why we're not doing things like this in the U.S., or maybe we are. We just don't hear about it. But congratulations, El Salvador. I'm going to be living there one day. I truly believe that.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely set the standard for these kind of things, and we should just learn from the people that do things well in this space,
Yeah.
right? So I hope the US comes on board with this.
100%. Binance had a tweet. This shocked me when I saw that, but they tweeted, "There is no second best," and we know Michael Saylor has been saying that for a while when he's talking about Ethereum. There's a second best. What does this mean? What do you think they mean?
It's obvious, isn't it? Bitcoin is number one, and they're gonna stay number one. And if you think about how the internet worked, I always compare crypto to the internet because there is just really good comparisons there. And you saw initially all these websites, with the .com boom, you had pets.com, you had, all these, GeoCities, all these things.
Mhm.
When it all calmed down, the winners really kind of started to rise above. You had your Amazons, your Google for search. Yeah, Yahoo's still there today, but they're a distant second when it comes to search or whatever services they provide. But I think the only difference I see here is that, like, I don't know if it was intentional or it just works out this way. People always have seen Bitcoin as number one, but the Bitcoin developers and the community of Bitcoin did not want to rush into building an on-chain economy, anything in that sort of sphere, right? And so they
Yeah.
let Ethereum do it. They let all these other chains do it. And now we're starting to see those pets.com kind of fade off a little bit, right? Some of these other chains that aren't really used. But now what I think some of these people have been here for a while, they see the Bitcoin ecosystem and they say, they're learning from all these other mistakes that happened in the previous cycle, and Bitcoin is first place, and anything that is going to be worth anything is going to have some sort of connection to that directly. That's how I see it. Obviously, that's reading pretty deep into this simple statement, but
so you basically mean that, like, the second best will be on Bitcoin. Like, it'll be something that has to do with Bitcoin in a way.
Yeah.
It won't be like Ethereum. But to say there is no second best, I kind of disagree with that. I think, Solana and Ethereum are competing for that second best slot. So I kind of disagree with that. I think there can be a second best blockchain. I don't know.
Well, I think they're talking about the distance will always be there.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, for example, like if you put money into Google early and you put money into Yahoo, you would make more over a longer period of time, right?
Yeah.
But Yahoo's still here today, right?
Yeah.
And
They're a fantasy company.
And you have Bing as well, which is another search engine that came on later. So it's not saying that these other blockchains will die, but I think what they're saying is that Bitcoin will always remain that premium chain to coin and ecosystem down the road, right? So that's what I'm getting from it.
All right. Next thing here, it really isn't news because Mike Novogratz, he's been a Bitcoiner forever, but Mike Novogratz, the Galaxy Digital, has again increased its Bitcoin holdings, bagging a whopping 400 Bitcoin. On-chain data reveals notable 23 million accumulation by digital assets. So they're accumulating here. And I've always said it, smart money does not buy rips, they buy dips. And he's buying right now. Do you think he's thinking this is the bottom? Because obviously Mike Novogratz is somebody at Galaxy Digital. They're one of the biggest VC firms in crypto. And, they're very smart with their buys. I think their last buy was between 30 and 40,000. So it's weird that's coming out right now that they just bought 400 more Bitcoin.
I don't think people like this aren't saying, "Oh, I'm calling the bottom right here." I think they're looking at this as a good opportunity to DCA in their way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
And so 58,000, anything probably that has a decent distance away from the recent all-time high of 76,000, I think it was. They're looking at that as like a deal, right? And so just because you're a huge entity and you have access to capital doesn't mean that you don't need to move things around and get yourself in preparation to be able to make moves like this. So, because people can be like, well, why didn't they do it whenever Bitcoin touched 49,000 2 weeks ago or whenever that happened, right?
Yeah.
Exactly what I just said. Just because you're a large entity and have access to capital doesn't mean that you don't have to get your ducks in a row before you do something. And I think that's probably a situation like this, right? So, but I think it's a bullish indicator because they're not scared. They're doing this because they believe in what their strategy is, and that is to DCA all the way up until where they feel comfortable. And so I love seeing headlines like this. Obviously, you got to dive a little bit deeper and see, do your own research and different things. But this, from a surface level, is a bullish headline to me.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree. Jump into the Bitcoin fear and greed. So I'm gonna give you, last week was a 25, yesterday was a 31. If I was I would say we're somewhere in the middle. What are you thinking?
I would say 28.
Well, you're dead on, dead nuts.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you. I'll show my screen here. But yeah, 28 for the Bitcoin fear and greed.
I mean, you did say somewhere dead in the middle, but I was thinking that
it is Monday. I want to give you that. So
yeah, but the way that the fear and greed has worked recently has been pretty consistent between a 3 to 5 point range, which is crazy because like 2 weeks ago it was fluctuating between 3 points to like 15, given the day. But that means that Bitcoin's price has stabilized as well, which it has, if you think about it. And I do the price charts every day, and so I see it really ranging between 57,000 all the way to 61,000, and that has been pretty consistent for the past, I would say, week and a half. And so that's going to reflect on the fear and greed, which is good because we've been so volatile previous to that, right? So yes, it's not exciting for our ecosystem because Bitcoin needs to be really moving for us to see benefits from it. But a good thing is we're stabilizing some right here. And what happens when you stabilize? Big entities and people like Mike Novowitz, whatever his name is, that's that's when they acquire, right? So accumulation period is kind of what we're going through right now, which is a good thing because people will get more and more bullish off of that.
I 100% agree. Bringing us down here. Let's get into some Bitcoin price action brought to you by the great people of BitPerp.
BitPerp. Yes, BitPerp is a premium perpetual DEX that's going to be launching on Botonix, and I believe other ecosystems. We'll get more information on that. But let me share my screen here and get into the hour chart. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So they did update some things here. So it looks like we are closing up this sell pressure on the hour chart, right? We've been in oversold for a while on, it looks like exactly what has been happening with these descending triangles is about to happen again. You can see, oh man, right there, just reset, but I'll just draw it anyways from here. But you can see here, this triangle's forming here. And what the MACD just showed me is I expect some pop-up here. For the second half of today. Now, I've been a little bit off lately because Bitcoin's been a little funky, calling based off of the MACD and the stochastics. But this is what I'm seeing for the second half of today because we are closing this up. The blue and red lines are here, about to touch this. If I was to open up a position, I'd probably try to scalp a long. That's not financial advice at all. I get wrecked all the time, so don't follow me. But this is what I'm saying. Another descending triangle, and this has been the theme of these descending triangles. They only pop 20 to 30% of the time, but they've been popping lately every single time. And so I do believe that pent up demand is still here. So I'm going to roll the dice here and say that we, pop up to maybe 59.5, even possibly touch 60,000 for the second half of today. So that is for today. And then the 8-hour chart, if I can get this to refresh here. The 8-hour chart, when I last looked at it, was a little different. There we go. Okay. I'm going to pull this up here. So it looks like on the 8-hour chart, we're seeing a little different story here. So yes, we did bounce back up into overbought, but we haven't hung out there very long at all. But the buy pressure is, weakening here. But that doesn't mean this, second half of today, we don't have that bullish second half. I do still think that we're going to get that. But for the rest of the week, probably choppy. That's what we've been seeing for the past week and a half. That's something that I see here as well. We were in overbought for a bit, and then with buy pressure, and then started to descend down. Didn't stay in oversold very long at all, and jumped all the way back to overbought. So if we get a strong push up today, this could change and hang out a little bit longer up here. This could turn back green, but I think for the the rest of this week, probably chop back and forth, 60 back to 58, back to 60, and then let's get out of August. That is what we are trying to do. And you and I talked about that pre-show. But that's what I'm seeing for the shorter time frame and the longer time frame. And guys, again, this was brought to you by our partner BitPerp. They are building some stuff right now. So if you try to go to their site, you probably notice that you won't be able to see the charts right now because they are working behind the scenes. I'm seeing a lot of bullish stuff that I'm able to see that you guys aren't. But we'll get into that once they give us the information to release to you guys. But yeah, that is what I'm seeing with Bitcoin. Second half of today, bullish. The rest of the week, maybe a little bit down. Oh, you're on mute, my friend.
Imagine with BitPerp if you take 150x on Mr. Yen, right? It goes up 1 penny. You're good. You're good for stuff for life.
It's true. That is true.
But that will be the only place where you can do perps on tokens like Mr. Yen and tokens like Dog. Well, not Dog, but tokens that are a little bit more degen, like big $1 billion cat and stuff like that. So
yeah, we'll see.
All right. Let's kind of get into your comments here. I want to dig into the graveyard because, guys, I came on last night and there was a few comments in there. Obviously, you don't make the official roll call, but I'll shout you out in the graveyard. Zahid said, let's go. Am I first? You technically were first, but then YouTube deleted you because of I don't know why they do it. They do it. And then Mr. Hanky was in that 2 spot last night. And then our good friend, Tim Baker, AOD Art. But you didn't make the first is first. I'm sorry. I can only go by what YouTube's giving me. And they gave me Lackey Lukey, number 1. Congratulations, my friend. You win today on this Monday. Congratulations to you, my friend. Followed by in that second spot, we have Yo Claudio. Shout out to you, my friend. Yeah, Share is always here. Appreciate him. One of our mods, really helping us out every single morning with the banners and stuff like that. PJNZ is in the building. He said, let's go. Must be heroes reveal soon. The heroes are revealing soon. I got to get me one. I was on vacation last week. Totally missed that mint. Did you end up acquiring any?
No, I didn't. I was a little confused on it because I think it showed that it was 75% minted out, and I thought the other 25% was pending. So, but probably pick one of those up on secondary because just to follow through with the characters, generation. I think that's really cool.
Well, I saw that, and with the what is it, the authority or something like that. So you can go and you can put that at like 1 sat. And you're guaranteed to get it. Like there's no sniping that. So what happened? That 25% was just people putting low fees in because they were being cheap, and that's why. So you weren't able to get that 25% because I tried as well.
Gotcha.
Then we have Ordinal Tweets in the building, followed by Danny Boy. Shout out Danny Boy, D Blocks. Shout out to him. Ordinals Chips is in the house. Reziak, SPI. Man, you've been joining us all week last week and continuing it this week.
Yes,
shout out to you, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. I Walk Alone is here. Babu, he says, Mr. Yagobi and Shizzy. What's up, buddies? What's up, buddy?
What up? What up?
And then we have Mighty So News in the building. John's here. He said, what with the thumbnail picture? Yagobi looks like he's seen a ghost, and Shizzy looks like he's just seen a transfer inscription walking down the road. That would be my face if I seen that. I'd be like, oh no, they're finally coming to get me. Chain Watcher is here. Steamy J is here. Chief Axel, shout out to you, my friend. Mauricio is here. Shout out to you. Tim Baker, AOD Art is in the building. Ant-Man, Kai Effect, Joku is here. Amir Daywood is in the building. He said, we are not bullish enough. No, Amir, you are not bullish enough. But shout out to you, my friend. Kai Effect is here, followed by my boy No, he is here. He's a GM listening on the sidelines. Yeah, it's the best place, man. Coach Katz hangs on the sidelines all day. Shout out to Coach Katz. Rick G is here. Khalil is here. Superman himself. Let's see anybody new. Oh, there he is. Cash Cats, Coach Katz, we call him GM. Always bringing the coffee and the donuts and the dog. Go to the moon. Shout out to you, my friend. Bitmap News is here. GM Gents, GM to him. If you guys don't know Bitmap News, man, he puts on spaces every single day. All about Bitmap, all about that, all over there. So shout out to those guys and go join that spaces if you're interested in Bitmaps. And I think that is the roll call for today. I appreciate every single one of you guys waiting for that last second pop in. Don't see it, but shout out to everyone who makes roll call each and every day. You guys are legends, man. We appreciate every single one of you guys, man.
Yep. We're paying attention to the ones that are making roll call even during the slow times. We were here last year, guys. If you're feeling down and out, don't worry. Like Shizzy was probably worse than what you're feeling last year at this time. I mean, I'm sure of it because I remember he was like, "What's going on?" But we stuck through it, and we
Yeah.
reaped the rewards for doing that. So you guys will too for showing up every day.
100%. And last year, if you don't know, I go on vacation with my family in the same place every year, the last couple of years anyway. And I remember I was down the Jersey Shore last year, and OXBT decentralized. And if you guys don't know, if something decentralizes, it means a team has given up on it. So if you ever hear that,
Unless it starts that way,
it's different if it starts that way.
Yeah.
Then it's a DAO. Right, but in this situation, it goes the other way. It basically means the team is giving up on it, and they're giving it to the people. It becomes a meme coin at that point because no one's going to build on it. So once that happened, I lost tons of money, and like I put a bunch of money in Ordinals. For some reason, I decided to go long. Pick God, I don't know why, but I remember looking in the ocean after that, and all my kids are playing. I'm standing in the ocean like, F me. But then a few months later, everything changed, right? We started getting into a lot of different projects, and some of those ripped. I mean, I bought a blue box for $100 and sold it for 14. All right, so I bought sats, minute sats, super cheap, minute rat, super cheap. So there's going to be opportunities, and I think they're staring us in the face right now.
Yeah, yep. And he's talking about 14K, not 1,400 on that.
No, $14,000 off of $100 buy, for sure. Jumping in. So this is a question for you. Is Bitcoin ecosystem experimental? Is this all just a test?
No. Well, so to give some preface here, we had a great space that was hosted by Unicross yesterday. I think it was about 65 people in there. It was mainly people building on Merlin, but also some people in the ecosystem that, we respect their opinion, like Hype and stuff. And, that was something that was brought up in the conversation was that, Ordinals and BRC20s and stuff and is an experiment, or I think he mentioned that they were an experiment. And I just chimed in, and they were definitely an experiment. But we're past that experimental phase for sure. And proof of that is the Bitcoin on-chain economy. There has never existed a Bitcoin on-chain economy as robust as we have now, not even close. When they've attempted to do it before, it never got traction. We can go as far back as the colored coins, which really led up to the creation of Ethereum, right? Because Vitalik wanted to really build out that ecosystem and was told, hey, you can't do it here. And that's whenever he ventured off and did his own thing. And then you had the counterparty days and stuff, which is shout out to those guys, OG and blah, blah, blah. But there was never that like robust, constant, inflow and outflow of on-chain economy. And once we get that, we are here to stay. And you can see it with all these other standards that are being built. And we'll get into some of those here in a bit.
Sounds good. All right. And my opinion is, yeah. So obviously, we started a business around this, right? So we are more than invested in this ecosystem. We are more than invested, in Bitcoin. Bitcoin, there's stuff that's going to happen. And I always kind of thought about this. It can't just be this pet rock forever, right? You just buy it and just hold it. It needs to be more than that. And we're doing that here. And somebody's going to create something that's so innovative, whether that's on chain or off chain, but it has to do with the Bitcoin ecosystem. And it's going to be game changing. And I think we'll all be here for it, whether that's, whether we're already living it with Ordinals or it's the next thing. I just feel like it's going to be a ladder of success stories that's going to happen, and it's all going to come through Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think that they're all going to work together, the ones that stick around and have communities and actually have builders on them. I think that the ecosystem is going to be robust, and it's going to be, they all can work within each other and, integrate and stuff like that, versus, this one like tribal type of approach. Because if you think about it, if you really want to get that way, then we're going back to what the Maxis mindset is. And the Maxis mindset is Bitcoin only. And yes, I think if you hold on to that fundamental thought process in the back of your mind, not the front, to kind of say, okay, everything needs to be converted into sats eventually, but there's true innovation that's being built within this ecosystem that can all work together. That's where I think it will thrive. Because at the end of the day, like, gold is gold too, right? If you look at that.
Yeah.
But then, like, there's a reason why there's like millions of gold jewelry dealers in the world. There's reasons why there's, gold plated toilets and stuff like that, right? And that's all I'm getting at, is that, like, there's an entire ecosystem that can work together here, and I think that that's where it'll thrive. Some of the stuff won't survive and it'll die, but some of this stuff will work together in the end.
100%. I agree. Next thing here, Wiz Wallet, an Atomicals protocol wallet, now supports RGB LN assets. What does this mean?
Yeah, so this was interesting. I saw this over the weekend on my For You timeline, that Wiz Wallet was integrating RGB assets. And we've heard of RGB, the smart contract protocol with Bitcoin, through Bod Bodily, and we've done a little bit of research over there and stuff, but I didn't realize how much was actually being built over here. And for the audience, they're actually utilizing Lightning Network, right? And so there's some hurdles that we know right off the bat with Lightning Network, having to jump channels and all that stuff. But it makes me wonder, are they prepping for like an OpCat upgrade to the chain that will make this more seamless? Or, maybe some of these channels can just be really built out in a robust way, that's their specific ecosystem, is that channel. But it gets me excited because RGB is a smart contract protocol that works with Bitcoin. And I don't know, they've released this new token standard called RGB20, which is another fungible token standard, but it's very different from what we're used to with BRC20s, runes, even ARC20s, as the fungible tokens are not stored on chain like all those other assets, right? They're actually stored off chain, right? And they work with Bitcoin commitments in Bitcoin to verify that all the information off chain is correct. So they're, working with a network of provers, and that's they actually, the commitments are UTXO commitments, and so it works with the off chain data to make sure it's correct, and then it will process the transaction. So I don't know. We have a new world that seems to be built out kind of under our noses here.
100%. And, RGB stands for Real Good Bitcoin. LN stands for Lightning Network, if anyone's wondering. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm okay with all innovation, right? And I do think the Lightning Network is going to be a big L2 in the future for Ordinals and runes and stuff. I think that, and this is kind of like another, testing ground for what we can do on Bitcoin later, once opcodes and stuff get put in. So I don't know. I'm big on this. I just love that people are just trying different things, right? And that's the best thing about our ecosystem. No one knows what's going to work. Nothing over here is proven. Nothing over here is, like finite, right? Everything is just, it's all testing. It's all just becoming more every single day, right? So it starts off experimental, then it gets into more of a community stage, and then at the community stage, it becomes like, bigger than that. It becomes a protocol. And I feel like, to get to that level, you need to start things like this. So
yeah, push the envelope. And I want to show something real quick.
Yeah.
So there's a project already that is launching, I believe, today, called Jerry's Box. And I will say this, the developers and community that I've seen behind the RGB20 is mainly Chinese. I went into a Jerry Box space and it was mainly Chinese. But they seem to kind of be ignoring everything on the outside and just build what they are focused on. So it says $sign is the ticker. Jerry is coming soon. The first innovative RGB20 asset, the first Bitcoin meme coin social experiment that combines the Lightning Network and RGB protocol, making the impossible possible. Why is the Bitcoin RGB protocol the ultimate form of smart contracts? And then they have 3 points here. No blockchains, because it's off-chain data that they can get verified with the UTXO commitments, right, with Bitcoin. It says with unlimited performance. BTC does not require cross-chain functionality, and then Turing complete smart contracts. So it's going to be interesting, because there's probably going to get pushback, in my opinion, with the off-chain data storage, because all the fungibles are stored off-chain. But it's confirmed using Bitcoin. right? So it's kind of in a way how these Bitcoin fundamentalists were thinking the only way scalability could work with Bitcoin. But we'll have to see, we'll have to see, because this is not everybody's talking about this on my timeline. I only saw like a quick little snippet and then dove deep myself. But I don't know, man. This is gonna be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to just seeing what goes on, and being first is first, right? So if Jerry Box is first, it's definitely something I want to pick up. But like marketplaces, is there anything like that we know of?
Not that I know of. That's something I'm still digging further into. I imagine they're gonna, have a swap. What I did dive into the actual, it's rgb.tech, the website for the technicals. And these contracts can be written in multiple different programming languages. I know Rust is one, JSON is another. I don't have the actual document right in front of my face, but I remember seeing those two specifically. And so, yeah, I mean, we'll see. And so because of that, I bring that up because, I imagine if they're using smart contracts, they're going to have the computational part down, even if it's off chain or whatever. They're going to be able to develop a swap pretty quick, I imagine, if it's not already developed. But I'm going to research and get more information for the audience and stuff. Hopefully, maybe we can talk about that maybe tomorrow or down the line.
Yeah, definitely. And if you guys have any information to give us, please let us know. We would love to keep digging into RGB and the Lightning Network for sure. But moving along here, Ordinal had a tweet. The Runes protocol is accounting for 69.6% of all Bitcoin transactions. Even in this dead part of zone, Runes is still 69. And then people can say, people are buying BRC20s, and there was a mint last week of some BRC20 ticker that, it ripped, it went to 100%, and then everyone sold off, which is very normal for BRC20s these days. So I'm curious what your opinion is. This is 69%, and I think once Fractal comes alive, Runes could be like 90%.
I mean, it could, right? It very well could. Here's the thing with Runes. I've seen some of our friends and some other people that have influence in the space kind of talk about how they have a really bad taste in their mouth with Runes.
Yes,
and I get it. And other influencers outside of our space, because let's be honest, Runes was severely overhyped, right? And it's not necessarily the influencer's fault. At that point, there was an initiative to get it overhyped and all the stuff, if you think about it and you look back. But there was influencers that were cross-chain influencers, right? You're talking about people that would talk about Solana, talk about Base, talk about Ethereum, that just had like a broad crypto audience, and they were really pumping Runes. And because of that, because Runes didn't perform the way everybody expected, there's a bad taste in people's mouths, even outside our ecosystem, but specifically in our ecosystem too.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, you see these posts that, they're venting that they don't like it. They don't like how it was a controlled narrative. But I think you got to really look in between the lines. Look, get out of the weeds. Let's look at who's paying attention to the Runes protocol. And when you see a company like Coinbase Ventures invest in a project like Statflow, that's a big indicator to me, right?
Yes.
And yes, it was only 7.6 million that they raised with all the investors, but the fact that Coinbase put Coinbase Ventures on the partnership there, that's a big deal. So what does that mean? To me, that means that they believe that there's a future for infrastructure here that they can work directly with. And so does that mean that they're going to start listing Runes like crazy? No, I'm not saying that, but I do believe that has crossed their mind to be like, okay, which ones could we actually list that makes sense, right? So for me, that's so bullish. And you got to, yes, I'm upset too that Runes didn't perform the way everybody expected, but I think we got to realize where we are in this bull run, right? Where if we take the template from last cycle, we place it right on top of where we are for this timeline. We're in 2020, not even ending the summer, right? So when did things start to get crazy and bullish? It was really at the end of 2020. It started a little bit, and then that first part of 2021, and then summer 2021, and then fall 2021. So that means that at the end of this year, possibly, and this is if we replicate it, possibly beginning of next year, summer, and then fall of next year, right? So we still have so much time for growth and hype for the real actual bull market that these big entities are just looking to see what should they prep for, in my opinion. Now, I could be wrong on that. I'm just trying to pay attention and look through the weeds in between the lines.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The only part I don't agree with is saying Runes was overhyped. I don't think it was. So I just think that it was normally hyped, and the Bitcoin seasonality just wasn't there, right? So I think if Bitcoin was, going to, if Bitcoin hit 72, that's when Runes was overhyped. But I think, again, I think it was perfectly hyped. I don't think it was overhyped. I think it was just normal, right? But it wasn't the right time and place because Bitcoin didn't go to 72. Bitcoin went to 78, 84, 96 right after Runes launch. Runes would be underhyped, right? And I truly believe that.
So I mean, you got to think about performance. Whenever you're talking about hype, if it's overhyped, performance matters. Like, it
performance would have done really well.
No. You can always say that.
No, hold on. Well, the reason why BRC20s did so good because last year, November to December, Bitcoin went nuts, and then in January kind of cooled off, and then when BRC20s did good again,
let's pump the brakes.
I'm just saying, Bitcoin assets do really well when Bitcoin goes up.
It was not going nuts on the first run.
It went from
BRC20
30. It did.
Not the first time that
it went from 22 to 33.
Back in March of last year.
It went no. Hold on. BRC, I don't count that because that was something new and different.
You can't just pick and choose.
You can't. No, because that was like 90 people. That was like 90 people that were playing then. And I'm just saying, back in November and December, Bitcoin went from 22,000 to 30,000, and then back in this year when BRC20s went on their second run, Bitcoin went from 30,000 to 672,000. But I'm just saying
from the second run, but you can't attribute it for the first run.
I'm just saying
here's my point.
There was two runs. You can't count the first run.
Why? People made millions of dollars on the first run. Millions of dollars.
You were using spreadsheets. There was no marketplaces or anything.
It didn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Once the marketplaces came out, it went down.
What I'm trying to tell you is this. Look, Runes was overhyped. You can.
I disagree.
We're gonna both have our opinions. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't like this technology that changed so much of the experience, right?
It completely changed the fungible token experience. It did to me.
No, because people didn't stay over here. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why.
Because Bitcoin went sideways.
Hold on. If it was Solana has pumped billion-dollar meme coins whenever Bitcoin's done shit.
No, that's not true. Go back. Go look at it. Go look since this halving. Go look. No, go look since halving. Not since halving.
I'm telling you right now.
Nothing in Solana is pumped.
If Runes had if Runes had the similar trading mechanisms of Solana didn't exist, and it launched at the same time, I guarantee you would have multiple billion.
Nothing in Solana has pumped at all.
I'm not talking about Solana right now.
I'm just saying
the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Just go look at all. I'm just saying the on-chain. It doesn't. You can't say something's underhyped when Solana and everything else has went to shit as well after having. And there's no money entering the system. So how can you say something's overhyped when there's just no money coming into any crypto?
Then it's their fault for launching it at that time period.
But Casey didn't care. Casey just wanted to create something.
So it's going to be then smart people should have been like, hey, look, this is not going to do well because Bitcoin's not going to,
Well, no one knew Bitcoin was going to sit here for 6 months. No one knew. If you would have told me in April that Bitcoin's going to be lower in August, I'd be like, get the hell out of here.
Well,
I think we're both pumped on August.
This is the problem, is that you even admitted this pre-show that a lot of times we don't take the template of the previous cycle and lay it on top of our current timeline. If we would have did that, we would have known that like the 2020 summer was shit and that our summer was going to be shit.
Well, the 2020 summer was amazing.
2021 summer was amazing.
No, the 2020 summer, because that's when Abe went from pennies. I'm talking about like for the shitcoins.
I'm talking about Bitcoin.
Like
I'm talking about
Bitcoin had a really good summer.
That's the whole point that you're making is that
Bitcoin went from 6,000 to 10,000.
Bitcoin didn't do well.
Bitcoin went up 40% during that summer.
10,000. All right, next topic.
40%.
I'm done with this topic with you. All right. Let's go.
All right, jump to the next thing here. Fractal Bitcoin block 21,000 is out. BRC20 on Fractal is now activated. So if you guys don't know, Fractal is basically a Bitcoin fork that they're going to be adding all these opcodes to and 30-second blocks and all this fun stuff. So Fractal is something that we're both bullish on, and we think that it's going to be the next big thing. I'm a bit bullish on FRC20s and everything they're building over there. So I'm excited. What do you think about?
Did they announce
that's
the standard? Is FRC20, or are you just creating that?
It can't be BRC20s, right? And so
you're just whatever they come out with,
whatever the name's going to be,
using it as a placeholder.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're going to have their own standard that comes out. I mean, it's like you got to go back to the layer 2 days of Ethereum whenever, like, what are the Polygon tokens? What are the Chronos tokens? What are the, what are they called? So it's going to have something like that, placeholder. Yeah. I'm a little bit concerned because the market conditions aren't great. And if the market conditions don't become better in September and they launch, I think we'll see like a pump for certain things, but then quickly will retrace. But, October is right there. So if they can just get through September, and in October, and we have a good fall, which I think most everybody thinks here that we will, I think Fractal can do very well. I'm seeing on the timeline, there's starting to be a lot of hate for it, as well as a lot of people that are hyped up about it.
Hate for Merlin that happened back then.
So opportunities, of course, I think there will be opportunities for people to make a ton of money on this, not financial advice. But you still need to play your cards very well, because you never know how the market's going to react.
100%. But I don't think I don't think it'll be ready in September. I'm leaning more towards October, November. I just have experience with with Unisat and stuff like that, and I would be completely shocked. And I'm willing to take a bet on it if Agora wants to put a bet thing on there. I would bet the house that it does not get launched in September.
Yeah. So, I mean, with their kind of record, right? They definitely do take their time on something like this. They did follow through with the 21,000 block. So the testnet is actually active right now. Yeah, I mean, it's testnet, and I just think a lot of people like us that cover the space still have that sour taste in our mouth from like the swap module, and so I think that they have to really execute on this, right, and to kind of make people forget about that. At the end of the day, it is what it is, but we'll see.
I think they need to come out immediately and say it will be like November, October, and then even if it is ready in September, you launch it then. But I think if you give the people the expectations that it's going to take longer than it really does, and then launch sooner, that'll give you the, oh wow, these guys are amazing type of look. So I just think that that's one problem with the founders and developers. They give themselves too small of a window. Give yourself a big window, and if you do beat that window, then you look like a success. But moving on here. Unisat extension wallet release 1.4.5. We're thrilled to announce that Unisat has been updated, better support the Fractal. So they're basically upgraded it for Fractal. So that's how bullish Unisat is on their own product here. Did you see the updates yet? How do you like the look?
I like the look. It looks pretty sleek, right? Do you know if they have their mobile wallet on Apple devices yet, or is that not added?
No, it's not on there yet. No.
So that's what I'm waiting for, is for me to be able to have my Unisat wallet on my mobile device. I think that you can do it on your Android devices, but not Apple right now. But yeah, I mean, I like it. It's I mean, it's really just aesthetics, right? That's what I'm seeing the change with. But yeah,
I like it. I have it right here. It looks pretty good. You have your atomicals now, your runes and stuff like that. So I don't know. I like the update. Nothing crazy changed with it, but it does have a little bit more of an Xverse look to it now. But all right. Going to the next topic here. Unicross, they have a tweet. With low mempool fees, the minting of uncommon goods has actually become more active. Half of the total supply was minted in the last month. Wow, half of the total supply. How are you feeling with uncommon goods? I know we both are kind of looking into this now. We weren't last month, we were both kind of like, okay, this is something to kind of maybe pay attention to, because we know Sats had a very similar mint, but then we knew that Sats wasn't a 4-year mint. It could have been if it wasn't minted out, but people jumped on it and started minting it like crazy. How do you feel about uncommon goods? And the holder count's ridiculous.
That's what makes me super, super bullish on uncommon
Yeah.
goods. This was, I think, Casey's psyop play, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And you call it a psyop because there was just a lot of speculation on how it would play out starting from the beginning. But this is not a short-term play, right? I mean,
Yeah.
could it be possibly like whenever everything is running hard? But I think the real big play for this is mint this whenever the transactions are cheap right now, and then we don't know what Bitcoin's on-chain economy is going to be like in the next bear run, right? We don't know. There's a ton. One thing we do know, there's a lot of stuff being built with Bitcoin, on Bitcoin, whatever you want to call it. And so I do think that there's going to be applications that directly use Bitcoin for a secure verification chain, whatever you want to call that. But I don't think it's going to be like that high volume swap like Solana thing. But if Opcat and opcodes get added, then there's still going to be like automation that's done using Bitcoin and applications. So let's say that Bitcoin can pull back to 80,000 next bear market, and but still 4 sats is going to look different than 4 sats today. And also with the on-chain activity in the bear market, it could be busier. We don't know if that changes forever, indefinitely. So I think the play would be to try to mint during the low fee times, and then 188,000 holders right now, and I think there's like 190 million minted or something like that. I think so. Let me see. So the
I'm thinking about starting a DCA on this, not gonna lie. We're both talking this morning about what's cheaper, minting or buying. I'm more of a buyer. I hate minting anymore, especially with the sniping. So I like to get what I want, you know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know.
You don't have to worry about sniping though if the supply is indefinite until next halving block, right? I mean, I guess someone could still steal it. But like, I don't think people are paying attention. This is like something in the background, I feel like, which makes me even more bullish on it. But yesterday I saw 188,000 holders. This morning there's 190.5 thousand. And imagine, and so this total supply right now, is 19.46 million. So 4 years from now, that supply could be pretty big, but it's not going to be like Sats. Sats is 2.1 quadrillion. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's never going to get there. But the holder count is what's good. Like I could see this easily going to like between 1 and 2 million holders. And at that point, it's stupid for centralized exchanges not to list this token. I think it's just a fee generator for them constantly.
Yeah. And you saw something with Bitmap do really well with the inflation. And this, obviously is going to have inflation for 4 years, but it's going to be more and more expensive to get this. Do you think something like uncommon goods could do well in this cycle?
I mean, yes, you can make money off of it. I think the most money will be made once it gets close to being done, minted out.
If you were a builder coming into the space and you wanted to get already come after a community that's already built, wouldn't it be cool to have people burn their uncommon tokens to get your token? So you basically come in and you say, hey guys, like I'm putting out this Aura collection, I'm putting out this 10K collection, burn 1,000 uncommon goods and you get a whitelist.
Yeah. I mean, just do whatever like that's creative with it, because it's going to be around here, and it's 190,000 holders. I mean, it has to have the most in our space when it comes to fungible tokens, right? And when I say I think the best return will be, I think it's after it's done minted out and it's closed. So 4 years from April, whenever that's going to be 2028. And it's like a savings account. I look at it kind of, right? Like, and it like just accruing consistently or constantly, but like over time, you have to be patient with this. And I feel like that Casey did this on purpose to make people kind of be patient, have self-discipline. I think
100%.
Pat who said that it's way cheaper to buy right now. So buy it, like if it is cheaper to buy right now, buy it. But my point that I'm making is that this is something, once you get like 1 million holders, bro, that token's never going to die. It's not going to zero.
Yep, I agree. I want to hit on one more thing before we get into Merlin Monday. This was actually came on while I was where we were talking. I saw this pop up. It was a tweet from Leonidas last night. He said, PSA for the Runes, Ordinals, Fractal, Opcat ecosystem. I've identified what I believe to be a network of scams targeting the Bitcoin ecosystem run by Board BRC20, otherwise known as Junk Food Punk Root, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to show this tweet by him here. He says, obviously what I just read, basically prior to Runes launching, Magic Runes BTC was created, which did fake giveaways and directed users to impersonation websites of pre-Rune airdrops. Shortly after Fuhu came out, they made a fake Fuhu, and I actually subbed to that and was paying attention to that for a while. I didn't go to anything, but it definitely got me on Twitter anyway. After Program of Runes came out, they created accounts, popped up, program runes and stuff like that. So Leonidas is basically saying here that Junk Food Punk Root or Board CRBC20 is doing these scams. He's leading the scams. I'm curious to your opinion on this. And just so everyone knows, he was a part of Oshi, which was a scam, in my opinion. They could grow out of that maybe one day because I know they're still building. But as of right now, it never really came to fruition. And then it was CBRC20, something that he became Cyborg. And then, they had the board token and stuff like that. And obviously, I personally, I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I personally think that was all a scam there. And now we have OpNet, but the OpNet guys are saying that the French guys, meaning Merlin and Junk Food Punk Root or Board, have anything to do with OpNet whatsoever. They left him and they're building on their own. So OpNet kind of gives themselves out of that. But what do you think about the Oshi guys still out here scamming?
I mean, so like, who's the bad guy here? Like, first it started to be like the main founder of Oshi was this guy named Merlin. And then he was the bad guy, so they detached from him. Yeah. And then they went to Europe and tried to come up with. You remember that the Hacker House or whatever. Yep. And then that's where CBRC20 comes out. And then now the main dev or person behind that is a scammer. So now we got two scammers that were once part of the Oshi, and so it's just really hard to keep up with what's going on here. And look, I'm all about giving multiple chances here, but it's getting ridiculous, right? And I think the best thing to do is to try to protect the overall community that we're in. And so I think, look, you got to call a spade a spade. I think that's where we are at this point. I personally am going to dive in further into this so I can research myself as well. Because I don't want to take just Leonidas's word at face value. And I want to tell everybody should do that. No matter if it's coming from us or anybody else, if it's Alpha, if it's FUD, do that extra step and find out yourself.
Yeah. And going into URLs and stuff like that, make sure you guys go to Twitter first. Make sure you find their real Twitter account. It usually has a gold star or a gold check mark or something like that. Make sure it has that, and make sure you're on the right thing before you go to any site. Double check yourself, quadruple check yourself. Make sure you guys aren't going to these fraud websites. I mean, we're in crypto. If you're not, ready for this, then you probably should take a step back and really prepare yourself, because you're going to see a lot more of this, especially going into the bull run. So just make sure you're on the right URL. When you hook up a wallet, maybe use a test wallet first. I have a test wallet that I use for everything, and I've also my test wallet got scammed out. I had a few pandas in there that I forgot I had in there, and they got stolen from me because that was my test wallet. I was just making sure that I wasn't putting anything up on there. So just guys, just be careful and look out for guys like Boards, CBRC20 and that crew, because they cannot be trusted. As of Leonidas, not gonna say anything else, but just be be careful with things like OpNet and everything else as well. I'm not saying that's a scam. I believe Chad Masters has a good heart and is a good person. Danny, on the other hand, I don't think so. But everything else, just be careful.
Yep.
All right. I think it's about that time for Merlin Monday. We need like a song or something. We gotta reach out to Sam, get us a Merlin Monday type of song. But without further ado, you ready to get this started?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Yeah, let's.
All right, guys.
We got Jeff waiting for us. We're gonna bring him up, let him kind of give the space an update. So let's welcome Jeff, the founder of Merlin Chain, on stage here. Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
What's up, buddy?
Yeah, 2 weeks, man. Having 2 weeks. Great, guys, and yeah, happy to be here again.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I missed talking to you last week, man. Sorry about that, but I was out in vacation mode with my family. But how's everything with you, man? Personally, how are you feeling about the space in general and stuff?
I'm always like honest guy. I feel very sad, to be honest. The liquidity on all these, centralized exchange are at like all-time low right now. I mean, not all time, but for the past 1 or 2 years. On-chain activities are really bad. I don't know. I think right now we just have like dry space right now. But yeah, I'm just glad like lots of people are building. We see like all kinds of news every day. I definitely think in September with the SEC kind of thing, with token 2049, I think we want to see some change. But right now I think it's pretty bad. But in other way, it's great time for you to buy some stuff that you really care.
Yeah. Well, if you think about last year, during the summer and leading into the fall, didn't we go through similar phase right now to where things were just, ordinals were dead period. There wasn't a ton of activity happening. Do you feel like it's similar, or do you feel like this is a different experience?
I think for some amount of time we need to find some new gameplays that I talk with you guys in the morning. In my morning show today with Unicross. So last year we have Ordinals NFT, and 3 months later we have BRC20, and 2 months later we have Bitmaps, and then 2 months later we have Atomical, we have ETHS, we have BRC420 of course, and we have like all kinds of stuff. And then after 2 months we have Bitcoin Layer 2 coming up, all these Bitcoin Layer 2 side chains, and after that we have Ruins in April, and after April it has been 4 months. But basically, in my understanding, we don't have any new things going like on Bitcoin Layer 1 mainnet right now, right? So I think the market needs new things to get attention. And of course, if you look at like the general market of crypto, I think right now it's pretty bad. But I think we just need to build more things.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I was researching, and it seems like there are some new things, but they're just really, brand new. They don't have a lot of marketing push behind them. One of them was RGB20, which is a new token standard. I don't know if you've heard anything about that. If you have, could you tell us a little bit of what you know about it?
Yeah, I think there are always people building in the Lightning Network and RGB. I kind of put them together in my understanding, because they're trying to do something with Bitcoin native ideas, but still they're not like technically they're on Bitcoin Layer 1, but they're not actually on Bitcoin Layer 1, like Ordinals, like you can see every transaction and stuff. So I think that's the part people are very confused about, because like you can have every like very simple thing like BRC20, like Ruins, and also you can have like EVM kind of thing. That's what happened with Merlin, B Square, B Layer, Bob, Botanics. So that two things people can understand. And also you have Fractal, they are like implementing the opcats there first. I think that's a great idea. So I think like every special product or protocol has like something people can remember, and also a group of people that are very bullish about. But when you look at all these fungible token standards, like starting from last year, ORC20, all kinds of this, you can see most of them are just like are fading out because they are not that much different. That's just my understanding.
Yeah. It's interesting. I was doing some research on RGB and RGB20. They're definitely trying to do a different approach with off-chain data storage and all that stuff. But So what I'm seeing is kind of an exhaustion a bit for our ecosystem community, right? So like you're stating, we need something new because during this time last year, you said there was bitmaps and there was, BRC420s and there was atomicals, new things that were trying to come out. But like I look at it as like the community that we have here currently are exhausted a little bit and they want to see the things that they're holding like their bags, be innovative within those meta protocols. Do you agree with that, or you think that that take is not necessarily accurate?
Yeah, I think that's what we want. But sadly, at this term, you can see, for the past, 4 years to 8 years, what we learn from the market is the market always rewards the diamond hands. That's why we all say diamond hands, right? But at this term, this is like so bad. The market actually punishes diamond hands, right? If you if you buy sets when it's got listed on Binance, it's like 3 times higher than right now. If you hold bitmaps, from the beginning to the end, you still make some profits. But the profits is much different. It's like 10 times different than the highest point. So the market just keeps punishing all these diamond hands. And to be honest, I can say that in your podcast, I never sell any of my BRC 420. But the thing is, the market punishes us like really, really hard. That's why I think everyone is struggling. Everyone's like why do I be a diamond hand? So you can definitely see in the next bull run when the price goes up, you can see like lots of like very loyal users to starting to sell their stuff because they learn from past. So I think that's very different from last cycle or the one before last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. You being around a long time, do you feel like this is just an July, August thing? Or do you remember like the last previous July and August and stuff like that?
Yeah, I really don't believe in this kind of like some people predict there's gonna be a bull run in September. I say of course SEC is gonna lower the rate, but I don't know. Like I never put my stakes on like predicting. Like the only thing we can do here is just be together, talk about stuff, build, get more people here. But I mean,
Yeah.
of course I'm bullish on Bitcoin, but we just have to wait.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think like just like us too, Shizzy, sometimes like we don't zoom out enough, and like
Yeah.
I always say, like bringing that previous 4-year cycle template, laying on top of where we are today, it's not a bullish time 4 years ago either. Leading up until the end of the year, that's when everything starts to really get spicy, and then obviously 2021 was spicy all year, pretty much. And so I think we're just our expectations, I think, are just a little bit too high too early, right?
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that we got to really kind of pull back here. But thank you for your insight on the overall market. But if you don't mind, we got 331 people in here, so thank all of you guys for watching. If you could kind of give the audience an update on Merlin Chain and what's happening within that ecosystem, that would be great.
Yeah, I think in past 2 weeks, when I was looking at my devlog right now, I think we are doing things exactly what Merlin is trying to do on first day, which is 2 parts. 2.5 part. The first part is about bringing liquidity, from Bitcoin to other ecosystems. We want the users, from Ethereum, from Solana, they're using Bitcoin, and in DeFi. I mean, not BTC-Fi right now, but I think a lot of people are going for BTC-Fi. So today, the biggest news is Babylon is going, live this week. So we are working with, like mostly like Solve and Bedrock. They're 2 LRTs are Merlin. They have like 2,900 Bitcoin, going for Babylon. So we're just like setting up all this kind of stuff, preparing for this week's launch. And so I'm not sure, the gas fee, how much that gas will be when they launch, but I mean, we can take that here. I think it will be definitely over 1,000. So I think for like, probably 5 blocks to 10 blocks or even 20, 30 blocks, the gas fee will be super high. And after this, it will be super low because, they have like 1,000 Bitcoin cap. That's why everybody's fighting for that 1,000 Bitcoin cap. And yeah, that's something we're building. So finally it's here. The users who staked, they can participate in this Babylon thing. I personally haven't done that, but we're just supporting that. The second part is to build for the Ordinals and Ruins, Bitcoin layer 1 assets. I think is Mr. J's gonna be here today?
I no, I think he's on a flight or he's like has a speaking engagement, so
Yeah,
he
so
won't be
I
here
can
today.
I can talk on on his behalf. We are getting a new a marketing plan with Unicross. So basically, they will reward users. So if you want to mint something, I'm not gonna say what assets, but if you're going to mint something, inscribe something on Bitcoin Layer 1, if you do that with Unicross, it's gonna be like we will be like rewarding you 10%, 20% more, and without bridging fee, without gas fee, and you can use your Unisat from Layer 1 Bitcoin. You don't have to bridge over Bitcoin and do that. You can use your Layer 1 assets. You can mint using Unicross. So something similar like what Unicross has done before with ID Club. Like last year with ID Club. So we're trying to build something that encourage people to mint stuff, encourage people to inscribe new stuff, and we are giving we are actually giving this kind of money from our own pockets to support people to get used to this. And I think they're about to launch this probably this week. So yeah, you guys will see. And the half part is we're trying to build something innovative, nothing like DeFi, BTC-Fi, or minting and trading swap. I think these two parts we keep building. The innovative part is I think last weekend we announced the BitMetal game new version in the a test link, so people can do that. So basically, that version you can have bigger lens, 2x2, 3x3, 10x10, and by doing that, you have to spend your BitMap token, and also you can stake Merle token to get to mine these BitMap tokens. And also, it's not going to be only BitMap tokens; it will be other tokens as well. If you're trying to use a radio, if you're trying to use a TV, if you're trying to do some gambling swaps in the metaverse, you have to spend this kind of money. And of course, the other stakers can get profits by staking different tokens. So we're trying to build like a ecosystem that different kinds of dApps will be there, different kinds of tokenomics will be there, and I think that's something we want to build for BitMetal game. Yeah. So basically, that's something happening in the past 2 weeks.
Wow.
So just for clarity on the Unicross new feature that they're going to have, let's say I wanted to launch a Runes token, but launch it on Merlin chain. Could I use that feature to do that? Could I actually launch the token from Unicross and then they'll take care of the Layer 1 side? Or how does it, am I confused on this?
Oh yeah, so basically, imagine you're trying to mint a Runes tokens on Layer 1, right? So if you spend like $1, you can mint like 100, for example. But Unicross is going to have a campaign that you spend $1, you get like 110 or 120. So basically, trying to educate the market how to use them, and that Rune token will be on Layer 2 on Merlin. So you can sell that in the we will have an LP there. You can bid the LP or you can sell that tokens for Bitcoin. And if you don't want to sell there, if you want to hold, you can bridge back. When you bridge back, there's zero gas fee, there's zero bridge fee. So basically, you don't need anything on your Merlin wallet. The only thing you have to do is bridge back, and it takes like 48 hours. So you can either sell there or you can bridge back, and we are giving like rewards for the users who try to do that.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Okay. That makes
Huge.
sense.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
And I see like a question in the YouTube channel. Can I answer that?
Which one? The Bitmap News?
Yeah, Bitmap News. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just read it real quick. It says, why the main bitmap bot that's currently minting all the bitmaps had access to Merlin Day 10 days prior to the seal being made public. They're recorded on chain. This is recorded on chain. I want to clarify. Thanks. So he's basically saying there's a bot that's minting up all the bitmaps, and he's saying that it had access to the seal 10 days prior to the public.
Yes, so I see that on Twitter. So I actually checked with our team before. So the thing is, I can show the screenshot if wants, but I don't have it right now. But I can.
Oh
show
yeah. Sorry.
Next week. Yeah. So because I didn't know this question coming. So the thing is, we have a testing link starting from February that the users in our testing group which is like 500 to 1,000 people. So we have 500 to 1,000 people who can verify this. It's like a testing link. You can bridge in, bridge out before our mainnet. And every time we can bridge in, bridge out NFT, BRC20, we kind of use the same link starting from February to March to April. So everyone was like aware of this testing link. And in April we have the bridge out for morning sale. We still have the link, but we haven't published that in the group. But some people, they are using this testing link to to try to see if we add a new function stuff. So I think some people in the group, they see this before Bitcoin, BRC20, and bitmaps and NFTs. So users use that link all the time. And I just checked the chat history. It's there. People use that link. So there are some very smart guys to do that. So when that happens, we don't even know. It's like I don't know why they haven't changed the testing link. For 3 months. It's a loophole there, but I guess that's the reason why users are using this to bridge out stuff. But I didn't want to write post on that on Twitter, because I just find it like really weird, because starting from day one of bitmaps, their bots like minting and selling. I track their data all the time. The bot is always minting and selling, and it's not like news here. And I think this is the kind of liquidity that users want. And if you pay attention to the bitmap token on Merlin chain, you can see we are trying to provide an environment that best liquidity is. So if you actually go on the DEX screener, you can see users, they sell or buy 300, 500, 1,000 bitmaps, in a token format in one transaction. But you cannot do that on Magic Eden. Magic Eden only has like 300, 500 bitmaps sold a day. But they can do this kind of stuff, when it's on DEX with token format. The number one holder of bitmaps has dumped 8,500 bitmaps. The number just keeps increasing. And I know there are lots of users, they don't like this kind of, swaps, DEX, liquidity thing, because they think the whale can dump easier. But me personally, I think economically, this is better for everyone. If you dump early, right? Don't dump when it's 10 times higher. If you dump, just dump it now. More liquidity always brings back, good results.
Yeah.
So I think that's something we're trying to build here.
And that increases exposure to different users too, because if you have the main whale dumping 8,500 bitmaps, then that one user turns into I don't know how many ever users, let's say 50, 100 different users that now have exposure to those 8,500 different bitmaps, right? So I hope that answers your question. I was gonna say, I hope that answers your. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just checking the DEX screener. 1 hour and 6 minutes ago, address dumped 300 bitmaps, in one transaction. Not the number one whale, but I was just checking a random guy. So I think having more liquidity is better. Don't be afraid of people dumping this kind of stuff. That's what you need. What you don't need is some asset nobody's selling, with a fake value there. You think it's very, very high valued, but when you're trying to sell, you just cannot sell them.
Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Bitmap News. Appreciate the question that you put in there. My last question before we bring up the next, the first builder here. So BRC20s asset class is something that was really hot at one point. And then, once the market settled down for just that asset class, it's kind of been stagnant. And so we're seeing some more utility that are trying to be added to it. One that I know of specifically is Foxy, which is building their Bitverse game. They're talking about adding BRC20s as weapons and stuff like that. Is that something that you could see grow that asset class for these metaverse builders to utilize the BRC20s as weapons or as different things in that way? And would there ever be a kind of a joint promotion for something like that? Or do you kind of say BRC20 does its own thing?
I would definitely love to see that, because we have a builder coming from the West. He actually uploaded avatar, and he tries to implement that into the new version of Bitmetal game, and we just helped him to do that. And I think Foxy, they use lots of BRC20 assets, And I think that's the beauty of BRC20. It's not like Ordinals NFT. You can put like anything, music or 3D file there. You can set a price, and people can buy that like easily on layer one and use that in your metaverse. I think this is definitely something we want to do, and what we need is just more users trying to play games on bitmaps. Yeah, I really hope the community is coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there is. And speaking of BRC420s, I'm going to bring up Sam from Verothium Decks that has kind of tried to highlight BRC420s again. So let's bring them up. Sam, welcome back to Ordinal Revolution Merlin Mondays. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, hey guys, thank you for having me. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man.
Yeah,
Oh.
doing good, bro.
Yeah, guys.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Sam. Yeah, one little thing, because I see a question from Albert, because I don't want him like just like stop watching and I answer this like 5 hours later. So yeah, you have to have small amounts of Bitcoin on Merlin, because
I got dropped out.
yeah, but because that's layer one, layer two, that's all chains, right? You need a gas fee on that chain, no matter it's Merlin or Arbitrum or Solana. You need to have like $20, $10, $5, and we lower the bridging fee and bridge out fee for like very, very, very low cost. So if you want to just like bridging like 10 bucks and and turn them into tokens and sell them on Merlin Swap, it probably costs like $3 to $5, and you can have all your money back or your bitmaps back.
Awesome. Hopefully, Albert, that answers your question there. You do have to have that wrap Bitcoin on Merlin to bridge back to Bitcoin. All right, Sam. So to get back into what you're doing with Verothium Decks, could you kind of explain what you guys have done since your soft launch in terms of focusing on BRC 420s again?
Yeah, guys. So yeah, we actually launched like soft launch last week, and we have like everything live. I just wanted to make sure everything is good and everything is working very well. But as we move forward, we do want to tap more into the BRC 420 staking. I think that's what our kind of goal and process is going to be in the next 3 to 4 weeks, after which we will kind of have concluded all the things that we want to do with BRC 420s. But right now, like for example, we enabled Verothium Mine Staking, which is a BRC 420 asset, and I think it's like, for me, like Bitmap itself and like 3D assets kind of go hand in hand. So it's like really good that you have that kind of thing available. It's like a decentralized 3D with metaverse kind of play, which is, I think, a meta they'll pick up in the future. So so anyway, so like we enable BRC 420 Verothium Mine Staking. Next we're going to do a few of the more prominent ones, and then we'll give yield for those. And then our goal will be to eventually somehow incorporate that staking with bitmap.game uh, with bitmaps itself. But I think that will play out with time as the underlying users grow.
Yeah. So I really like this approach because, like I was mentioning before, BRC 420s, that asset class, which, by the way, for the audience that is newer to the ecosystem, is a Bitcoin native layer, originally a Bitcoin native layer asset, right? But I feel like a lot of those assets kind of went stagnant, so they're kind of just sitting in your wallet doing nothing. So if they stake these assets, you're offering them to earn a yield in what exactly right now?
Verothium gas tokens. So we'll like, it's just like, if you have like some of these 3D assets sitting and you want to just stake on our platform, you can, and then you get the Verothium gas token. The staking will lock for not lock. I mean, we'll make sure that all the rewards are emitted within the next year, and then you can stake at any time. So it'll be completely onto your purview to do that. And then we'll just start staking more and more 3D assets, starting with Merlin Blue Box this week, probably by Friday, and then we'll add few more, and we'll wrap that up within the next 3 weeks.
So
we will have
no
yield
lock
for every
staking,
single
right?
staking asset.
So no lock staking. So if I put it in today, I can take it out tomorrow on all these assets.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. Jeff, I'm curious of your opinion on this, right? Because we were talking about BRC420s kind of being a little stagnant, but this is another approach that can kind of revive them. Do you think this is something that can kind of get it going? And then also what he said about like, integrating into bitmap.game. What's your view of something like this?
Yeah, I think two parts. The first part, I think our community knows about this single staking, and I think they really care about, if is there like a locking period. So I'm just glad, there's no locking period for any assets. I mean, basically everything I'm earning right now, there's like no locking period. So I think that's a great idea. Sorry, Babylon has locking period. It's not controlled by us. It's controlled by Babylon. But yeah, just to clarify. So yeah, so I think that's a great idea because like I think the users, they just don't want to sell right now, but they're not happy with there's no kind of like utility for the assets. I mean, bitmap.game will definitely bring utilities utilities to BRC420, to Blue Box, but right now it's just like not live yet. If you look at like the listings, only 100 listings there, out of 10K. So people just don't sell, but people just don't know what to do with those assets right now. And the second thing is we can definitely integrate the VDEX kind of experience into the bitmap.game. Actually, this kind of idea was I had this idea because I think you guys talked with me one time about having VDEX in bitmaps. So I was actually inspired by that. So definitely we can do this kind of stuff to implement all these DApp functions into the metaverse.
So in that instance, would it be kind of like VDEX would be a DApp within the bitmap.game world? Would it be like a marketplace for DApps, or how could that look?
Sorry, what do you mean, like exactly?
So for example, like bitmap.game is like this world of bitmaps. Will there be kind of dApps that are is that your plan to create like this market of dApps that work directly within the bitmap.game worlds?
Yeah, it's going to be like permissionless. So for example, if you build like a gamble DApps, right, to gamble everything, for example, you have smart contracts, so it's on chain, it's already deployed, and you can do a 3D object, something like a wheel, something like a slot machine, and you can upload that 3D assets to bitmap.game, and you can implement the smart contract you already have to that object, and then you can sell that kind of stuff in the platform permissionlessly. So for example, you say if you want to have this slot machine, you have to spend 1,000 Merle or 1,000 bitmap tokens, and when users buy that, they can have that in their home, and the other users come to his home, can do that kind of slot machines, and there will be like a rebate. So if you have a land, if you have a object, something like that, or a DEX in your land, and other users use this paying fees to the smart contract, for like money swap, you pay like 0.3 or 1% fees, and these fees will be split by the DEX and also the landowners. So you are more willing to have more users to come to your home to play stuff you own, this kind of stuff.
Oh wow,
Interesting.
I didn't even think about that. So
Yeah,
that's where landowner.
actually, I
Sam.
want to add to that point, right? Like, I think this is really interesting because bitmap.game is just very interesting, and also BRC420. And they're like the way they are, they're just kind of unique in themselves. And I think, like, if you can, like, take a 3D asset, right? Like, whatever 3D asset it is, and then you stake it with, say, 10,000 bitmap token, right? Like, and then like something on bitmap.game get enabled where people can see that, oh, these things have 3D assets staked with bitmap.game. So it just glows, right? Like on the top left where all the compartment of selection is, like, hey, there's something available here. So you can go in there and perhaps you have a 3D asset like a car, right? Like there's a Tesla car on 420, and you can just kind of drive around and capture like the token itself of that 3D asset. I think that kind of gamification is really interesting. But I think but we can, like, for me, I just want to provide that, right? And then the yield can come from the map itself for by doing certain activity. But again, that also depends on the value of the token and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that people also need to realize that like you can build across chains, right? So like because you are the one that determines where your Bitcoin layer one asset travels with you, right? So if you want to build on bitmap.game on Merlin, you can do that. If you want to build with using BRC420 on Foxy, you can do that. And I think that's a place that we need to get to, right? Because BRC420s could be this really, premium asset class for the metaverse, for weapons. I've already talked to the Foxy team about something, or a card pass to get into a certain part of their world or a certain part of a bitmap.game bitmap. So once that like synergy starts to come together, and it's not just limited to bitmap.game and Foxy, this could also expand out to Bitmap Valley, and it can also expand out to another thing where these assets are universal. So it's really exciting. Sam, you do have a question from our guy here, 1 and 2 out, and his question is, so are we staking for a rune? Whatever we receive, what do we use this for? Sorry if already answered.
No, so this is just a governance token of the platform, right? You receive the rune, you could sell it, just specifically for Veritium gas itself. But over time, our focus here is to just grow the underlying network over focusing on the token itself. That's not, this is the network, like with bitmaps and 3D assets, right? That's and what I feel like the real value is, and that's where our focus is going to be. And then as the platform grows, everything in it grows as well, and people who are supporters, and also that's the only utility that we have for that token.
Gotcha.
As of now, right, there could be something in the future that comes out of this, but for now, this is a rune that can be bridged back to Magic Eden through the Maryland Bridge, and vice versa. Eventually, you can bring it back as well. You can stake it. I'm sure you guys are going to have a bunch of LPs, correct, for Veritium gas and other tokens as well. That's probably going to be maybe a little booster and stuff like that. Is that something we can look forward to?
Yeah, I mean, like you can read the tokenomics on our website. For the most part, it's a governance token. There's no like, we're just gonna focus on growing the platform and allow that to kind of work its way with the token. Yeah, staking.
You're willing to partner with other platforms that obviously there's with the tokenomics there's a certain percentage that's already allocated for the project itself releasing. So I think what you're trying to say, Sam, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you're saying that you guys can partner with other projects that might want to maybe like on their platform stake the token and release something that they have or something. Is that
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So dual yield is definitely there, right? Like if there's a BRC 420 token that are like, okay, we're gonna have this token launch, and they want to do like their 3D asset staking with us and offer dual yield through us, like Veritium Gas, which is a Rune token, along with something else. We'll definitely do that so that we can just kind of get that network effect going too, right? And then that's the underlying utility, and then the governance becomes bigger in a sense. So yeah, that's the purpose of the token.
Yeah. Yeah. And guys, I think that also just the thoughts that can go in your mind about like these Bitcoin layer one assets that are kind of being sprinkled in different ecosystems, you have to remember that they're always originally Bitcoin layer one assets. So 5-10 years down the line, the more, in my opinion, the more that they're sprinkled into different liquidity pools or liquidity that's built up, the more strength that these tokens have to last through time. And right. So that's just my perspective. Do your own research on it. But 1 and 2, I hope that answers your question for the staking and reward there. Sam, anything else before I bring up Bitmap 420 up?
Yeah, no, guys. I mean, everything. So we did a soft launch last week. Everything is working. We're gonna make an announcement next on Twitter that everything is live. It's good to go. And then yeah, for the next few weeks, we're just gonna focus on the 3D aspects of things, and then grow from there. It's just really excited about just how. I mean, I know the ebbs and flows of the price come and go, but yeah, as the market becomes bigger, who knows, maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 months. We just want to be positioned towards the 3D asset side of the bitmap and kind of grow our little niche over there. That's what our focus is going to be, and looking forward to it. Thank you for having me up here.
Awesome.
Thank you, Sam.
Appreciate you, Sam. And guys, check out Verothium Dex. I think it's verothiumdex.io. Yes, verothiumdex.io, and then you can click on Launch App and then get really into that information there. But I'm going to bring you down, Sam, and we appreciate you joining us today. All right. Our next guest is Bitmap 420. Ben Schiller, he actually was in, I believe, the same cohort for BTC Startup Labs as a couple of these guys. We got Fonzie for after that, and then Sam was in that cohort as well. So let's bring him up. Ben Schiller from Bitmap 420. How are you doing, sir?
Outstanding. Thank you for having me, gentlemen. And yeah, since we're starting off with BTC Startup Lab, check out the Bitcoin Olympics. There's a hackathon, has a couple more days for you guys to enter, like $500,000 worth of prizes. I believe Jeff Merlin Chain has 20 grand in there for prizes. So a whole bunch of cool things to prizes to win. Just get in there, build stuff, and ship.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yep. We haven't had you on, I think, for about 3 or 4 weeks. And so we would love if you could give an update to the community on what Bitmap 420 has been up to and what to look forward to.
Yes, the joy of actually being busy, which is great. Just building. So we've actually, I'll pop it into the YouTube chat here. We are testing in production our Bitmap parceling tool. So a little background on Bitmap and a little background on parceling. So Bitmap, hopefully, as you know, if you're here, is the land in the Bitcoin metaverse. Each bitmap is a pointer to a Bitcoin block. So the actual land itself is literally the blockchain. And when you look at a bitmap, you see all the cool orange squares. Each of those squares actually is a representation of a Bitcoin transaction. So every block has transactions, at least one. So you have that one big block, or you can have tiny thousands of blocks, depends on how many transactions that you have. So just like in the real world, you can take big chunks of land, your bitmap, and subdivide it into smaller chunks to be better able to be used. And those little things are called parcels. So up until now, basically the only thing that you could really do with bitmaps is buy and sell them and have be able to build stuff on top of them for yourself, which is a great start. So now we can build on top of that, which is to be able to actually manipulate the land a little more to hopefully make it more inclusive, have lots more people, lots more community, to be able to grow the Bitcoin metaverse. So our tool, the Bitmap parceling tool, is live. We're testing it in production, which just kind of give you a fun side developer kind of note, which I'm curious to hear from the other builders about this. It's like we started to build towards testnet, and then we were like, well, nothing exists. like none of the infrastructure actually exists. So we're like building these things for testnet, and it's like, well, we're just going to build this again for mainnet. So let's just screw testnet and just go straight to building for mainnet. So we're testing in production. We're doing it live, and we're basically taking chunks of folks, groups of 20 right now, starting with our Ego collection holders, popping them through, getting feedback, testing wallets, trying to find every little bug that we can before we open it up to the world. But the era of Bitmap parceling is here.
Awesome. Ben, you're coming in kind of robot-y sounding, so I don't know if you have a connection issue there, but for the most part, we heard what you're doing with the parceling and stuff like that. But right off the bat, I'd like to kind of hear your perspective on, we know that you're a big proponent of Bitcoin's native layer, and you've decided to choose Merlin Chain to scale out. How has that been for you? And then also, is your parceling system different than what is being done on native Bitcoin?
So all of the parceling that we're doing is on native Bitcoin. So this is all layer one activity. So the if you can think of it basically as a parent-child inscription. So basically what that is, in Bitcoin Ordinals, you can have your inscription, and then you can have an inscription that is born at the same time as the parent is in the wallet. So there's blockchain proof that our new inscription came from this origin inscription. So when we talk about bitmap and parcels, it's like having a deed to the original property, right? This is where this parcel came from. There's irrefutable proof that this parcel came from this piece of land. So that's why it's important that actually this part is on Bitcoin layer 1, at least in my opinion, is because those things are going to be so valuable, and they're probably, once they're settled, aren't going to change hands that often, right? If you think, you buy a house, okay, you might sell your house every 10 years, 30 years, 20 years, whatever. You want those high value things, which ultimately bitmap will be. Doesn't seem like that right now, but it's a belief that over time, bitmap to 20K, those high value things are going to want those on layer 1 and have that proof of custody, that provenance on layer 1. Now, once you get into things like, mortgage securities, where you're bundling these things up and then trading them in high volume, of course, that's great for layer 2. And really, the first preview of that we have is with the bitmap token, right? Which is basically a way to bundle these things together so they can have more liquidity, more velocity through the economic system. So our tool right now, definitely Bitcoin layer 1, we're building on layer 1. And then as we get a little bit further down our roadmap, then we can start to use all the benefits of layer 2, which is speed and value of high frequency, high volume transactions.
Got it. Shizzy, is he sounding kind of broken up?
Yeah, it's really tough to understand. I got most of it though. Did you?
Yeah, I mean they're working on the parceling, parent-child method on Bitcoin layer 1, and once they get further down that way, they're going to focus on the scalability part to Merlin.
Exactly.
Ben, do you mind jumping out and jumping back in? Maybe that will fix it.
I was just about to suggest the same thing. Let me do that, and I'll BRB. So you take this next, and I'll come back to you. We can have some real fun.
Yeah, let's do that.
Sounds good.
All right. Jeff, just a little bit that you heard, just curious on your response to that. So, he's obviously trying to work on Bitcoin's main layer for the parceling part. And then, once that's figured out and smooth, maybe some scalability options after that to, Bitcoin sidechains, layer 2s, Merlin. Is that something that you could see for the future of bitmap, like actual parcels being bridged over as well? Or is that something you feel like could get too messy?
Yeah, so the first thing is, I think the beauty of bitmap is, it contains all this data on blockchain. That is very different from any asset before. Can you guys hear me? Right?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. So the second thing is I'm honest from day one. I'm never a huge fan of parceling, because we think right now we have 900,000 bitmaps. It's already too much. But the third thing is, my thought doesn't really matter. I'm stupid in many ways. So I think the community needs is, all these kind of builders, have their own ideas. We have some bitmap, successful ideas coming from last year. We have some, failures coming from last year. That's how market works. So that's why we should, have all these builders to do this. And so the last part is 100%, we will support this if, this happens on layer 1, if the parcels happens, and we can support this on layer 2 as well. So we're just here to support. I'm not a big fan of all Merlin DApps, but whenever they need, I can support them. Like me myself, I'm not a big fan of the PFP of NFT, but I support whenever they want, with the Goosinos, with all these NFT marketplace. So yeah, I think we're here just to support, and my thought doesn't really matter at all.
Gotcha. Okay, I think that's a fair statement there.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I think while we're waiting for Ben to get back, let's go ahead and bring Fonzie up so we can give us an update on Ordinal Hive. We're going to bring Fonzie up, which is the founder of Ordinal Hive. How are you doing, Fonzie?
What's up, buddy?
Oh,
Yo, GM.
There he is.
There we go. Yo, Ben Schiller, what a chat name that is. I'm like, I need to change my name to something cool too.
it is a pretty Chad name. Yeah, that's for sure. How you
Yeah.
doing out there in beautiful weather land?
Oh, it's amazing. It's like it's summer every day. It's like beautiful weather. Every single day is like 70 degrees, 75. Yeah, summer is definitely here. It gets pretty hot, but no, it's pretty good. It's a good place to be in.
Yeah. Awesome.
How often do you actually get to enjoy it? I'm sure you're at your desk
Never.
heads down, right?
Never. I say that as I'm freezing inside a building that's like 6 degrees or like below. It's freezing in here, right? I have to wear like a jacket, sweater, so I have a couple of them in the office that I like wear on. But yeah, no, I literally never enjoy it. So I will eventually, probably one day. I realize, when you're in your hometown, like you probably do less traveling there, and it's mostly work. Like there was a conference that happened like about 2 weeks ago here now. It was an Ordinals conference or NFT conference, something like that. And so people came from outside and they were hitting me up. They were like, "Fonzie, come hang out with us." I'm like, when I'm in LA, I just work. I like don't do anything else. When I go to like a different place like Nashville, Austin, then like I would travel and enjoy the city itself. But like in LA, it's just like boring Fonzie working. So heads
Yeah.
on just building. But yeah, no, I think that's most of us for like hometown cities and stuff.
100%, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at home in my comfort zone. I'm in the zone, trying to focus
Exactly.
on getting stuff done. Yeah. Well, let's talk about Ordinal Hive, right? So Ordinal Hive, obviously, a success coming out of Bitcoin Startup Lab. You guys have a lot of attention, kind of taking on a little bit of this blur of Bitcoin type of approach, but doing it in your own way. That's going to be different. You guys picked Merlin Chain to scale, but you're also doing great things on Bitcoin native layer with aggregators and stuff. If you could just update the community on what you guys have
Yeah,
been doing lately and what to look
of
forward
course.
to.
Absolutely, 100%. So I'll give a couple of updates. Maybe we'll start on the Merlin layer first, and then go back to like L1 in terms of what we're doing there, and give more announcements there. But on Merlin chain, yeah. So like one of the biggest things is scaling, right? Scaling is very very important. I think it's gonna be very very important in the foreseeable future too. Like trade these assets in a very robust way, a lot faster, and not having to like kind of tangle yourself with like the Bitcoin stack itself. Like if you prefer that kind of trading environment, then there's the L2 for you, right? It's part of creating that ecosystem, right? That L1, L2 ecosystem itself. And so there's some stuff we're planning. We're devising right now some like trading competitions for individuals who want to, who have like their assets bridged over to Merlin chain, who want to keep them there, and sort of just make use of them, so they don't sit idle. It's a great way to kind of like get that started, right? In addition to that, too, in terms of trading competition, it's like stimulate the growth, stimulate the platform usage as well. We're going to open up to more and more individuals too. So, like, you can go ahead and check beta, join our Discord for more information on that itself. And at the end, creating that sort of like trading environment on the L2 place, right? L2 layer. Merlin provides a great, infrastructure for that. Great community, great ecosystem, great projects, their partners as well that we can sort of access and tap to. And so, for us, one of the biggest steps, and so it's one of the biggest next phases for us is to kind of aggregate all that together on the L2. So that's something that you definitely we definitely will be shipping out very soon. And then also we also intend to do L1, right? So L1 has been in romance for quite some time. And we've been actually in stealth just developing this in the background, and we officially announced it in August. So August I think is a great month for anything. It's quite bullish month for crypto in general. So one of the biggest things we see at L1 is like still fragmentation, right? It's very much like there isn't that sort of pro trading environment on L1 that has been established yet. And so one of the ways we're tackling this out is through the aggregator and stuff that we built. So you can see sort of listings across multiple marketplaces. You can buy across multiple marketplaces from Unisat, Magic Eden, OKX, for instance, right? And I think that gives traders better tooling, better kind of infra for them to kind of have better trading environment on L1 on Bitcoin, right? So for those who don't want to bridge their assets over and want to remain on L1, we have that plate too. And there's a lot more that's coming with that too. Like I just mentioned like kind of the nitty gritty there, but it's essentially like you have data across different platforms. We're putting more stuff to it as well, so like you'll see updates. In a very short amount of time, but yeah, we have that sort of like aggregation that's been done, and for us is like as a trader, like you want to have the best informed decisions. At the same time, we're in a period where people aren't looking to sell, they're looking to buy, right? So, part of that is like find the best pricing, bet the best, kind of just assets that are out there that are underpriced, and getting that tooling available for the traders. So we do have the L1 play coming very, very soon. In addition to like bulk listing, bulk buying from across multiple marketplaces, you can also list them across multiple marketplaces, right? And we understand like L1 has its issues, including sniping. So yeah, we definitely figured out a couple ways to protect users from that itself. And I think the system we devised is pretty much very, very efficient. And it's worked, right? I think there's so many sniping tools out there, and the only way to trade on L1 is to create something like that, or at least encompass it or like build it around the platform itself. So yeah, there's like a couple of things that we'll update the community on. We'll be kind of revealing more details in terms of how you can join the aggregator itself, and we'll be sort of shipping out faces. Users participate early as well. And again, early participation always will be included in the thread, but like early participation would entail more OG points, high points. Those points, will be redeemed from later on. And then there's a couple of updates we're going to also like ship out to the quite exciting things, developments within the Ordinal Hive eco. And so you'll have more information on that. But yeah, overall, it's like, kind of provide that serve trading tooling infrastructure on Bitcoin that's very much needed. And, right now it's just still very, very fragmented. So yeah, I think that's the updates from our end, and feel free to ask away.
Yeah, man. Amazing. So Ordinal Hive, you guys are now kind of live now on Merlin, right? Can you kind of get into that? I know you opened it up to the public now.
Yeah. So the perfect. Yeah. So the L2 play is there, right? If you guys have assets already bridged onto Merchant, you can go ahead and use them. If you want to bridge assets over, you can use our bridging tool to do that as well. And again, like the ecosystem itself is very much sort of engaged towards like, those high frequency traders, people who want to have faster trading times, of course, lower speeds, better confirmation times, all that stuff. Like it's there. Later on, we're going to have the aggregation on the L2 on Merlin chain too. So you'll see listings across multiple marketplaces that exist on Merlin too. And again, that's going to give you a better pricing feed, a better pricing tool that users, traders themselves can like buy assets across this stuff. And one of the cool things is arbitrage opportunities, right? Especially when it comes to L1, L2 play. We're going to see that play out very, very huge, and especially like have high traffic times during like a bull run, for instance. We're going to have that sort of like environment. So all that would be very, very important for a trader. And again, it's kind of iterating around them and just making sure we built a product that they want to use and love.
Yeah, man. And I've been using them and checking them out daily, looking for stuff. I mean, right now you can get a bitmap for 0006 here. Nowhere else can you get that. So I mean, you guys have I put the link in the chat for you guys. It's beta.ordinalhive.io, and any wallet can connect to this right now, right?
Correct. Anyone can connect to this too. Just from alpha, like if you go to the leaderboard, you'll see like points there. A lot of like, especially when it comes to like our aggregator on the L1. So people who have high passes will like automatically be included, so you guys can access it. But the top traders in this, and we'll make a more concrete announcement. The top traders will have early access to it. So based on your ranking on the position of this leaderboard, you'll be able to like use their L1 too. Yeah, so definitely encourage you guys to rack up those points. I see some people someone has been point farming up there. So we're also going to check just alpha. We're going to check some like the points to make sure they're legit. So the one outlier 20k points, like pretty sure they're like listing this listing. So like we're gonna make sure they're authentic, and kind of you'll see that reflected in the leaderboard itself. So don't panic if you see that there. Like I'm pretty sure we'll cover every single base. But yeah, like I think I definitely encourage you guys, if you use Merlin already, like this platform exists out there. We'll have more like kind of trading competition regarding that too, and it's always good to try like kind of the nitty gritty stuff, and even breaking the platform too. So far no one's breaking it, which is good. But yeah, I think providing that robust like feeling is pretty much like the best thing you can have.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yesterday, for us at least in the US, we had that spaces you and I were in, and I brought up a point about I don't think we're noticing like how these other scaling solutions are eventually kind of setting up infrastructure for these Bitcoin layer 1 assets to, first of all, get exposure to. And maybe someone doesn't love the experience on Bitcoin's native layer, but they have that actual asset like on Merlin chain, and maybe on Fractal later, and maybe on Botonics and all these things, right? And it didn't happen that way on the EVM side until I think Arbitrum was, I think, the first layer 2 that you could, or layer that you could actually bridge over like an NFT. And it was kind of late in the game when that happened. So over here, it's different though, because the experience on Bitcoin Native's layer isn't necessarily like the most fun because it's not quick and all that stuff. But then like with all these assets having exposure right here, do you agree with me in saying that's good to set up this for future, to have all these assets everywhere? What do you think?
Yeah. So a couple of points on that. Like the trading of, okay, so Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Like going from Ethereum L1 to Ethereum L2 is not big of a difference. It's not big of a change, right? It's literally the exact same thing minus like a couple of, maybe faster
A
transaction,
little
lower fees.
cheaper or something.
Yeah. But it's not super like a 10-20x, right? When you compare like 10-minute block times to like seconds or milliseconds, that's a huge difference, right? And you'll notice that through arbitrage trading that we'll probably end up seeing with L2s and L1, right? So like, there's a huge shift to that. In addition to that, like the Bitcoin it's not set up for like smart contract stuff. It's not set up for like probability. I know this project's working on that, so that's pretty cool. But that we're still like in the beginning phases of that there. Ethereum already had that built into it, so like it's a lot easier to work with. It's a lot easier to kind of do. So like again, like that shift from L1 to L2 wasn't noticeable, right? On Bitcoin, it very much is, especially if you're a developer working on this. Maybe for the end user, they might not notice it as much, or actually they probably will if they use a specific like you know action or app on L1 and L2. But at the same time, like it's a huge shift. So like from that in mind, like there'll be better like plays. There'll be, I think L2s naturally will work a lot better on sort of like Bitcoin, where it's much more difficult to work with. And I think Fractal even coming out. I know we've spoken about Fractal too. I think Fractal coming out is a great way to sort of segue or like showcase what was possible on Bitcoin, right? When all this stuff is implemented, when you have like Opcat, when you have like faster blocks and so forth, right? I think there might be systems devised in the future that will allow for that. Like I think the most probable one, the one that probably accepted, maybe worries from that, but like the one that probably the most accepted is like a system where during high periods of like high transaction or high demand, block times go faster. During periods of like slow demand, slow stuff, like block times go slower, right? So it adjusts based off demand itself. And so I think that's a reasonable approach on the base layer, but we're like years from that probably won't get implemented. Maybe it will, but that's the most likely to be implemented, right? Aside from that, everything else that it's being built is like sort of like showing us, okay, what's possible, especially on Fractal, what's possible on Bitcoin if it gets adopted. And we're still in the beginning phases of that, so no one really has a solid approach. We're just all going to be building towards that and iterating towards that as well as a group. So yeah, that's actually quite exciting to be part of the stuff. Yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah. I think that like, even adding Opcat to Bitcoin Core, it's going to make things more automated for projects, but the speed's still going to be the speed with the block size, unless they have some sort of, like you said, in the next 5-10 years or something like that. So awesome, man. Definitely appreciate. Shizzy, did you have any other questions for Fonzie?
No, but Sam Sage does. He says, Fonzie, is that real? And then he goes and says, tell Fonzie to get out of the car. And then he goes, Fonzie is the best. So shout out Sam Sage.
And
I think he was saying like Fonzie is that real is what he was saying on that first one.
That wasn't a question. That wasn't a question.
Yeah, we got shout out to Nuki fan.
Like, Shizzy's like Anchorman, where he's like, my name is Ron. What does he say? Ron Burgundy? I am Ron Burgundy, or whatever. But
yeah. No, shout out to Sam Sage holding down Nuki space. I'll join him in the space today, Nuki. So we'll have there. He hates when I attend professional spaces, and I'm very professional, so he doesn't enjoy that very much. But we'll get him onto the show itself, and we'll ask him real questions and be very professional with Sam and stuff, with our suits and tie and stuff.
We had Sam on once over here.
Oh, he did.
Sam did a really good job. He killed it. Yeah,
that was a fun one.
Nice. Sam is the most professional person I know. He's very professional. He's actually, I learned from him. So people ask, why are you so professional, Fonz? It's because I hang out with Sam too much.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. I know you guys are super busy. So any last words or anything for the audience?
Yeah. So I mean, just keep kind of like make sure you guys join our Discord. We have announcements there. We're going to be posting out very soon and just fleshing out all this stuff. But yeah, keep a lookout for the aggregator itself. It's going to be coming out actually in a couple of days. So just keep in tune for that. You definitely want to use it early access, and it's pretty powerful. It's actually pretty powerful tool. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it very, very much.
Awesome.
Sounds good to me.
Perfect. Fonzie, thank you so much for spending time with us and the community. You know,
Yeah.
you are an OG in the space, and you've built on Bitcoin native layer and Merlin layer 2 as well. So we will stay in touch and hope to hear some more from you in the future.
Perfect. Sounds good. Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
See you,
All right.
buddy.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bring up Ben again.
Yeah, we'll bring him up. All right. I know Jeff is probably trying to keep his eyes open because it's super late over there, but let's let Ben finish up his breakdown of what they got over there. You were last speaking about parceling, and then I think you were breaking out when you were talking about once you get that system down, Ben, and then the scalability part with Merlin. Could you go over that part again?
Yes, take two. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Perfect.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Outstanding. All right. So yes, so all of the bitmap parceling is on layer 1. And when you think that the bitmap itself is a text inscription already on layer 1, then it kind of makes sense that the first derivative of that, the parcel, would also remain on layer 1. But then it's like, okay, well, once you have those kind of assets, and this kind of blends into the BRC420 discussion as well. It's like, okay, once you start having assets that do have that value in transacting, whether it's a gaming item, whether it's a smaller piece of land, then it makes a lot more sense to be able to bundle those things up and move them to layer 2. And I was saying that the bitmap token is kind of a representation of that, right? It allows you to move higher volumes of these items faster and take advantage of all the things that layer 2 can do over layer 1.
Yeah, I mean, I think you said that perfectly. Kind of a perfect segue into BRC 420. Your name of your project is Bitmap 420. So what are your plans for the BRC 420 asset class?
Yeah, so I'm, as you can tell, a lover of BRC 420. I found myself starting this whole endeavor as a creator of BRC 420s. If you look at our native asset, the Ego collection, which is our mint pass, our access to our bitmap parceling tool. It's the first generative 3D BRC 420. So we've been, obviously just, lovers and appreciators of what the capacity, the potential of bitmap 420, the 420 part of it is for BRC 420. The potential is there. And it's really about having, and I think Sam alluded to this, an interoperable open standard for assets to freely move across what will ultimately be the Bitcoin metaverse. Part of that is also is part in, let's say, the gaming, the actual asset itself, but the other part, which is in my opinion, the critical part, it's also part of the economy as well. So when Jeff is talking about being able to move assets not only across Merlin chain, but across Babylon, across BitLayer, to have some sort of open standard for assets to be able to freely move back and forth, that is going to open up the economy to actually work on the Bitcoin metaverse. So big supporter, like you said, and ultimately I think it's just a question of there's times like this where you look at you just don't want to look at the price, because I think a lot of folks got in on the early side of things, and as always, in crypto you have that excitement followed by the gulch. It's you're never going to make it, everything's over, and then all of a sudden you look up one day and it's like, oh, that little thing is actually a blip in the much larger story. So the much larger story is very, very simple. The metaverse on Bitcoin. Duh. Like, just say that to yourself. The metaverse on Bitcoin. It's not going to go away. And if that's not going to go away, you're going to need assets. And if you're going to need assets, you're going to need to have them freely move across worlds, across economies. And that is what the potential of BRC 420 is.
Yeah.
Question from Kai Effect. He says, so what happens to bitmap if you sell it after parceling it out?
Yes. So this is kind of the interesting part of where we find ourselves with the bitmap parceling tool. This is just kind of getting into the minutia and weeds of being a builder. It's like there's really three things that we're building. There's the tool itself. That's one thing. There's the arrangement of people that can produce things like the tool consistently, frequently, at a high quality, right? That's the company, right? It's one thing to build a tool, but then you want to be able to back it up, and then what's the next thing, and what's the next thing, and what's the next thing, right? So you're trying to build a machine of people that can constantly do that. So there's the tool, there's the company, but then there's the other part, which I kind of got to at the beginning, which is you're building infrastructure as well, because there's nothing that exists, right? So you're building these things to help you build the thing that you want to build. So taking that to the question, it's like, if you buy a bitmap today, and let's say you go on Magic Eden, you look at that bitmap, I would highly suggest everyone go look at it on an explorer as well, like ord.io or ordinals.com, and look at what the parent-child relationships are in that. You might be able to see, who knows what you might be able to see, but you will definitely be able to see if there have been parcels created from that. Because right now, the infrastructure doesn't exist for Magic Eden, for OKX, for all these different marketplaces, to easily say, okay, this one's been parceled out, this one hasn't been. So that's what we're building as well, right? So we're building an indexer that has up to the minute, up to the block, current block information that has this parceling information available to it. And we're not actually building it from scratch because, you know, why? We're building a module that goes with what's called the Open Protocol Indexer. And the Open Protocol Indexer is maintained by the folks from the maintainers of BRC420, from Xverse, you know, literally Domo, the creator of the BRC20 standard. They already have an open protocol standard that does the first layer of bitmap. So we're creating a module to put in a pull request to be able to have parcels as well. So that's the long answer. The short answer is, if you sell a bitmap that has parcels removed, once those parcels are created and they're moved, they are independent characters unto themselves. So theoretically, you could be buying bitmaps right now that look like, you know, a nice little picture, but have like no parcels to them. In practice, that probably hasn't happened because not too many people have gotten around to actually parceling, which is why we want to make this tool and make it available to everyone. But it's important to note, and that's one of the things that, you know, we're cautioning people as we're allowing more people onto this tool, which is like, hey, this is what the downside is. Let's be mindful of that. Let's be respectful of our fellow community members, and please do not try to use this as a tool for scamming because we just have to be careful and make sure we get off on the right path.
Yeah, scammers will scam. There's nothing stopping that for sure. So,
yep. All right. So, you know, a ton of information. You know, definitely appreciate you working a ton on this because I think the bitmap community needs something like this. But like, if there was one thing that the community should look forward to with what you're building, what would that one thing be?
Yeah. So the one of the reasons that we even started doing this particular tool, this bitmap parceling tool, one was just because I think you can build a lot of things on top of that. But the other part of it really was to create a little bit more stability for people who want to build on top of bitmap. Because I think, and let's be honest, with the I would say lack of activity and definitely the lack of price action over the past year, the main complaint I keep hearing is like, how come people aren't building on bitmap more? And you can see over the last, 2 months, that's completely changed. They're seeing so much stuff being built. But for like 8 months, there's kind of like, not too much. So we worked really hard to get the parent-child standard to at least have that be solidified. And now, and forgive me for mentioning one of your compatriots, but you look at what the Block Runner just published the other day, heavily into DMT, just coming back to bitmap. And what are they doing? They're working on, hey, how can we improve upon what's possible with bitmap parceling? Like, that doesn't happen. That sort of level of developer activity doesn't happen without some level of stability in the protocol. So if anything, that's the thing I'm kind of most excited about. It's like, okay, there seems to be enough stability forming that a lot of different people are starting to build on top of these ideas. And that's exactly what we need, a diverse ecosystem. And it's like, why are you excited that someone else is also building a bitmap parceling tool? I'm excited because someone else is building a bitmap parceling tool. That means we have an ecosystem. That means, you know, we have an actual thriving, healthy developer community, and that benefits everyone. So that's the initial thing I'm excited about today. Over the last couple of days, excited to continue. Please come to our site, sign up for the test. I have to stop calling it testnet because it's in production, but sign up to help us test this thing. And then the next thing that we're building, just go to our site, bitmap420.com. You can see how it works. You can see the next thing that we're building is working on the AI analysis to be able to answer the very, very simple bitmap question. What bitmap should I buy? And have that be an amalgamation of information from ordinals, from real estate, from the Bitcoin blockchain itself, pops through our learning mechanism to help people answer that very simple question. Because when you think about it, there's a lot that goes into that, and it's physically impossible, the amount of data to analyze for a single human being. So to be able to use AI to do that in a nice, fun, easy way that helps people get into bitmap more, I'm super excited about that, and that's up next.
Awesome. That is awesome. I think that's going to be highly used AI tool if it, takes in account, block height, rarity, all that great stuff. So appreciate all that you're building, Ben. Can't wait to have you back on. We're excited and hope to talk to you soon, sir.
Absolutely, and want to see you guys build something for the Bitmap Hackathon. Do it. I know you're waiting. We're trying to get you guys in here to keep on building.
We don't got time for that, bro. I'm sorry. If you saw our schedule, you'd be like, "Holy crap!" I wish we had the time, though.
We've had those conversations, but yeah, that's something that we'll definitely consider down the road. But appreciate you, sir, and you're always welcome back. So we will talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.
See you later.
All right, let's wrap things up with our friend Jeff here. We know it's 1 a.m. where you're at, man. Thank you so much for being with us each and every Monday. Your participation means so much to us, and we just want to thank you for that. But any last words to the community?
Yeah, I was just trying to say, during when we talk, the number one holder of BMAP just dumped 240 BMAPs and bridge out full Bitcoin. From the BMAPs he dumped on Merlin with our users LP. So I was just trying to say this thing cannot happen on layer one. And I'm not saying layer one is bad. This is the stuff that Merlin is trying to do to bring better experience and liquidity. And when you talk about arbitrage right now, if you buy the BMAP token, basically you're buying one BMAP for 0.0005 Bitcoin, which is like 30% lower, for Magic Eden. So, if you really want to buy BMAPs, just buy the token, use Unicross to turn them into random BMAPs. There are lots of 4-digit BMAPs in the pool. So luckily, if you swap back like 100 BMAPs, 200 BMAPs, you can get the 4-digit BMAPs. It's all random, and bridge them back, you will still make some money. So I'm just saying all these functions are there. It's just some people are not using this.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
The whale are using this to buy it.
That reminds me of the rare sat days when it was like at its peak high, where people were sifting through sats on centralized exchanges. Remember, they would send over Bitcoin and then see if there's any rare sats, send it back, keep doing it. So you can do that with bitmaps if you try to get the rare ones. But yeah, I think people are going to appreciate what you're building and other scaling solutions are building down the road. I know it might not seem like it, for you right now and the past couple of months, but I think, 6 months, 12 months, probably down the road, you're going to see a lot of these scaling solutions be used a lot more, and then the arbitrage opportunities be there as well. So definitely appreciate you jumping on, like Shizzy said, and can't wait to meet up in Singapore in September. Definitely looking forward to that. And we will talk to you next Monday if you're available.
Yes, in 30 days, we're gonna meet at the Ordinal Summit, and I hope that at that time everything was like 10 times higher.
Yeah,
I hope you're right, man.
Awesome.
I hope as well.
All right, Jeff, we're going to let you go back to sleep or go to sleep. But we will check in on you later this week and then talk to you next Monday.
Yep. See you guys.
All right. See you, buddy.
Take it easy.
All right. What a day. 2 hours and 13 minutes. We have over 400 people in here, so thank you guys so much. And we appreciate every single one of you guys. We're doing a lot better job on YouTube these days. Our YouTube numbers are super high today, which was pretty awesome as well. So thank you, all the YouTube guys. And obviously, we're biggest on Twitter with over 350 people watching over there. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, especially on a Monday when things are very boring. I mean, even with us typing in stuff like Bitcoin is looking for his next big move, right? So we appreciate you guys so much. And I just want to say that. And guys, please check out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles over there. We have articles dating all the way back to last September. So definitely check that out. If you know someone new getting into space, send them on our website, ordinalrevolution.com. And if you're looking for some merch, we have some of the best merch. So check that out right there. You hit the store tab. So check that out at ordinalrevolution.com.
Yep. And guys, just take a minute to kind of, think about this. Right now, you have the Ordinal show, which I was watching. They didn't get over 320 people. And when
we beat the Ordinal show?
Come on, man. Who works harder than us right now? No, I'm just kidding. Those guys, you're talking about Leonidas, over 100K. I think he has over 200K now followers on Twitter. You got Trevor, which is 100,000 followers plus. You got Jan on there. And so the point isn't that I'm trying to make isn't that, okay, like something's wrong. The point is we're in a slow period right now. Right.
Yeah.
And so they were even mentioning this. They, once Ordinals is revitalized, we'll know when we're like back to, and it's not us, it's the entire crypto space right now.
Yeah.
We're all waiting on King Bitcoin to really decide what he wants to do. But you'll see the Ordinal show back at 800. We'll probably be, competing against that. So, if you're stressed, I'm stressed too about this, but like I just try to take a breath, and I remember where we were last year, and the fact that if you really have conviction in what you're doing and what you're building and what you're a part of, your community and stuff like that, just stick to those guns, because it's definitely worked out for us being in the space since early last year. So
100%. Yeah, man.
Yep.
We have those partners.
Yep. And when you get a chance, guys, check out our partners. I'm trying to figure out where to point here. BitPerp right here, the premium perpetual DEX. That's going to be a Bitcoin layer 2 DEX, perpetual DEX. They're going to be launching on Botonics. They're going to be launching on other scaling solutions as well. But they're focused on runes and other Bitcoin fungible tokens that I guess they bumped up the leverage because on their test site is showing 150, which is crazy, 150x. But we're excited about it, guys. So, you can visit their site. I think on their regular homepage, you can learn about the About Us, but you can also follow them on Twitter to learn more about them as well. And let me get the Twitter for them. It's at BitPerp, BITPERP. And you can learn more about what they're going to offer. They're partnering up with a ton of Runes token projects. So they are going to have a paper trade competition soon. We're going to get more information on that and then relay that over to you guys. Also, Ordinal Hive, we just talked to Fonzie, guys. They are building out. They're going to be expanding their footprint into other ecosystems. So you want to earn points. It's open, beta.ordinalhive.io, and you can interact and earn points now for that. Also, Fluid tokens. They are the only, I believe, decentralized DEX, but they use limit orders, buy and sell for the liquidity. So they pull from those and split them up for you guys. These guys are UTXO devs. So they're going to innovate in the space. Check them out. Congrats to the people that got the Fluid Pass, or that will be getting the airdrop. The snapshot was taken last Friday. So congrats to the people that are going to receive that. And then Verothium DEX, we had Sam on. BRC20s. If you guys have those in your wallet, pay attention. VerothiumDex.io. I know the blue box is coming this week, but they're also talking about possible Dragon Ball, trying to get Titanium Cheeto for you crazy puppets out there. But we'll see what happens. And that's going to wrap up our partners, guys. We appreciate all of you guys. 406 people still listening to my annoying voice right now. So we thank you.
And guys, we're live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. We will be here because we have nothing else better to do than come hang out with you. But I appreciate you guys so much, and see you tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Yeah, experts on reload. Yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to Olo. Experts on reload. Man, pool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Rooms coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC20, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.